Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Today is Thursday, November 24th, and it's a little after 11 o'clock in the morning. Once again, this is C.A. Newry, and I shall be your host today as we speak about the future of Bahamian music, the business of it. And in order to help me with this, we have the members of a new union. You know, you're the United Artists Bahamas Union. I hopefully I've said it right. United Artists Bahamas Union. Is that correct? Good. And we have members of that union here, where I'm going to add some tough questions to them, because I'm asking, why is there a need for a new union when we already have the Bahamas Union Association right up the road? I'm going to bring that speaker mic thing closer to you so you can hear. But that's is where I want to start from. There is a new union, new musicians union. And I have the vice president with me, Nicholas Jacks. I have the secretary general, Link Savallo, right? And I have the treasurer of this new union, Funky D. I can just call him Funky D. You don't need to know his real name, because people know who I mean when I say that, right? And I'll start with you, the vice president, Nicholas.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me here. Thank you for having the organization UABU, United Artists Bahamas Union, and good morning, Bahamas. I want to apologize for the president. I'm here to represent Madam President Anita Ellis Tynes. She's actually the president. I'm the vice president, and I apologize for her absence today. But what was your question again?
There is already a musician union, right? And I want to know why you felt the need that you needed to create a new union. So that's the question. Why did your organization come about?
Well, there's a multitude of reasons, okay? But some of the main reasons, there's been a lack of representation by that old body, okay? And when I say lack of representation, there are a lot of musicians who fall by the wayside through old age, unemployment, and that organization never had in place anything for retired musicians or unemployed musicians, and it seems as if they have no intentions of putting anything like that in place for its members. Okay, I was a member of that organization as well, and the leaders of that organization seem to be mentally paralyzed in respect to ideas. And so that's been going on for a number of years. And when you put certain ideas to them, they throw it away and outside and don't even respond to it or throw you out the meeting at the time. They refuse to accept good ideas that could enhance the organization and also represent its members properly. And so UABU was born out of those ideas, okay? And we want to be entirely different from their philosophy, okay? Our philosophy is to represent and protect its members, okay, and to leave a legacy for younger musicians who coming up, up and coming musicians, and the older ones as well who perhaps may be too old to perform or just think it's time for them to retire. And so that's one of the reasons why UABU was born. And so we want to be entirely different. We not want to, we will be entirely different because all of us share the same ideology that we should represent the interests of musicians and entertainers and protect their concerns, or represents their concerns and protect their interests.
Okay, let me go to Funky D, because I know Funky. He's an artist who has electrified the stage. He's energetic. He's a happy-go-fellow person, right? But when I listen to Nicholas, he sounds disgruntled. He sounds upset that the former union, or the union that exists now, isn't working. They're not taking care of its membership. I'm not used to you being a disgruntled person. I want to know what caused you to join this group of men, a group of women and men, to say, I'm going to form a new union because that other one ain't working.
Well, I too share most of the sentiments of Vice President Jacks. And, for a long time, I used to be a member of the Bahamas Musicians and Entertainers Union as well. And, back in the day, I always thought that they used the union as a booking agent rather than a union. A union is specifically supposed to just represent their members in times of hardship, or like you said, when retired, they have a pension fund, or they have a burial society, or they have of course, there are a lot of musicians who, in my era, they're not, they've been displaced because of age, because of health, like you said, because of retirement. And I saw the need of a lot of the younger musicians who came up to me and, asking me a lot of questions about, how are you surviving in this environment. So, we came together, Links Cavala, who used to be my mentor a long time ago, and a member of the Secretary General of the Musicians Union that exists now. We saw the need for a lot of the younger musicians and all the questions that were being asked. So we decided to get together, and that's how I became a part of this.
Okay, let's go to Links Cavala,
Yeah.
who seems to document everything and understand why things must change, right? I hear Funky D. I hear Mr. Jacks, right? I hear their frustration, and it sounds like they're speaking on behalf of senior musicians, right? Musicians who have made the Bahamas, who has contributed to the culture and the building of what it is the Bahamas is. And it seems as if there is concern on what happens when these musicians goes over the hill, and that the current musicians union is not addressing their issues, right? I would like to know, as a group, because I know you're senior. I know you're a talkative man. You don't mince words, right? I'm sure you went to the leaders of that union, and we call it, because that's what we can call it. We can call it that union over there, right? And told them, hey, what about us senior musicians? These are the ideas coming from Jax and Funky D and the others, and these are the things that we're supposed to be doing. Why didn't it come about? Why weren't you able to negotiate and say, okay, I can stay with y'all because y'all working things out?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and let me say good morning to everyone listening. This concept of the United Artists Bahamas Union came about as a result of a number of things that are going on with the young up-and-coming artists as well as the senior artists. And some of the things that are going on now is you have a lot of international artists coming into town. And when I was at the Musicians Union, we had it set where anytime when the international artists come to town, they have to come to the union and you tell us, okay, so which Bahamian artists are you using to top bill with these artists? And so we had all of that set up. Today, that's not happening now. Guys them come in, they go to the union office up on the hill there and talk with the president. He works out whatever is works out, and then next thing you know, they are on the stage, and that's not the way it should be. We plan to be the eyes of immigration and labor and the government as a whole for the benefit of the musicians and entertainers in the country. So when someone is coming in, we want to know and we want to have a say so we could say, well, okay, which one of the Bahamian artists you're using in Grand Bahama, Freeport, Abaco, or Nassau, so they can get an opportunity to top bill with these artists as well as to make some of the money. Now, you would ask a question earlier. I think you wanted to know what the difference between our organization and the Data Union. Well, my answer is simple. They are sitting on the verge of getting it on, and we came to just simply get it on.
That's powerful. That's poetry you're trying to do there. and I see the poetry you're trying to do there, right? Now, mind you, as a person who is involved in the arts, it's because I write. I am frustrated with that union over there.
Yes.
Right. I always say they need to do more. What exactly are they doing? And so when I heard that a new union was formed, I was titillated and said, "Oh, okay." I guess there are other artists who've sensed my type of frustration that this ain't working for Bahamians. That Bahamians aren't benefiting from culture in general, right? And you piggyback on the last part. What makes you different? Right? I see three senior musicians here, right? I know that musician place union over there don't include young musicians involved in the decision making.
Exactly.
And I'm concerned that I see three senior men here, and where's the young talent? Where is that young? Who makes up your membership? Because I assume you're trying to gravitate and bring young people, young musicians to be involved.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm concerned that you may be the same old.
Oh, I like how you put that. No, actually, when Funky D and I first started talking about this concept, we made it quite clear, this is not for us. And so we have a number of young members, recording artists, that are a part of our organization, even on our board. A number of young people that are on our board, because this is not for us, and we don't plan to be in these positions for long. We're here to set this up and leave it in place for them. That's what this is all about, for the young up and coming.
And I'll go to Jackson. How do you plan to grow this union? I'm assuming that you right now, you're new. The musicians are familiar with that union over there. What will you be able to tell young artists, even mature artists? I'm still surprised that you get Funky D to join in with you all there. That's a big thing. That means it's serious. This issue is urgent for him to commit to say, "Hey, I got to make sure I'll join you all to change the status quo." So I understand the urgency, but I want to know, what will you do to draw musicians to be a part of this new union?
Okay, first of all, we establishing a burial society. Most of the musicians were dead and gone. Their family was scrumping around trying to find money to bury them. That's not going to happen under our organization.
Under health.
Okay? UABU is going to ensure that we have a burial society that to protect our members. Okay? And also, when they're retired, we can have a retirement fund. Okay? And that's going to draw their attention to the organization, because the existing organization over there, that one over there, doesn't have that, or if they have it, it is not working for its members. Let me give you an example of some things that are happening that union should have been playing a role in. Take, for instance, Cedric Munnings and Chris Fox. They are now accommodating old musicians like Jay Mitchell, who is a Freeport-based musician.
Yes, I know Jay Mitchell.
He lives down at Nirvana Beach with SETI because he has some health issues.
I understand.
They had Priscilla Rollins there. She had some health issues. Okay? Those are the things that should have been going on with that organization over there. But we intend to do those things. Okay? So we expect that to the musicians and entertainers, the youngest one, to gravitate towards us, knowing that we have their back in their twilight years, and we have their back in their current years and, future. They have nothing to worry about. In terms of coming up with funds.
I'm going to ask for money soon because you said all these big ideas are big. How you can finance these things?
Oh, but see,
I'm going to push it on Funky, but you go ahead.
Right now, the hotels and restaurants are paying levy to the other organization. They're going to now have to share that.
What do you mean they now have to share the money?
Yeah, because
you believe that union can allow you all to
listen to me.
come and push them out?
Take for instance, if you walk in an international airport, to Linden Airport, you'll hear his music playing over the intercom.
Yeah.
They pay for that. The hotels do. You walk in Atlanta's hotel, you hear his music playing over the intercom. Mm-hmm. They pay levies for that. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with other members of our organization. Okay, but the union over there is being paid for it, but he's a member of this union. You understand? Mm-hmm. Then, of course, dues help to cover some expenses, Plus, we'll have fundraisers. Mm-hmm. But those are ways to raise money to be able to do these things. Benevolent funds, we have in place. And, all those are things that we expect to help gravitate musicians and entertainers towards UABU.
I see I have a caller here who wants to engage you. Producer Kenny Patchstock's lobbying for musicians' rights and opportunities. You want to develop the talent and protect those who are moving on and becoming more senior, especially those who have already contributed. And then that's admirable. I see what you're trying to do. But Producer Patchstock, call us through. Go ahead, caller. Guiding Radio AM with CA Newry, and we have the new union, the UABU. Can you hear me, caller? Look like that lying dead. Okay, let's continue the conversation, right? And you mentioned finance. I see someone's calling again. If they're able to pick it up, just patch them through while I'm talking, and so we can continue that conversation. I want to delve in terms of finance, right? The other union is ahead of you in terms of negotiation, right? I assume they have connections with Ministry of Culture for whatever, like for example, we having the 50th anniversary, the independence anniversary coming up. I'm assuming that they are ahead of you right now in terms of the negotiation with Ministry of Culture. They are ahead of you in terms of negotiating with the big hotels in terms of bringing in talent. They are ahead of you in terms of negotiating with the persons who import these foreign talents to
those promoters.
The promoters.
Great point.
I want to know how you going to deal with that. How are you going to circumvent and say, well, I want to share this piece of this pie? How are you going to do that?
Well, circumvent is a strong word.
Okay, go ahead, Nick.
Great point you made just now. We plan to do some courtesy calls with the relevant government agencies and then put our program on the table to them. We plan to do that. And also, we're not going to be a booking agent union. We're going to identify booking agents or agencies who we will introduce to the music purchasers, the hotels, and everyone else. And so all of the bookings will come through these booking agents, not our union. And so what we'll do is set it up properly so when the culture wants to utilize anything from whatever they're doing, they consult the booking agents, not our union. And so we will have agreements with these booking agencies to make sure that they are licensed and all that properly. And so that's how we're going to operate with that as far as that's concerned.
So you do not want to be a booking agent.
No.
Union,
Oh, no, that's a no.
Which is what the other union tends to do.
Yes.
They actually could tell who will get the money and who ain't gonna be a part of this pie at all. They share people out.
Or could be at the phone when the job call in and then go and do the job.
They ain't sharing it.
Yeah.
Right? So I know there are a number of booking agencies. I have one in my mind that is off of there it is. I'm thinking Mackey Street, and this name escapes me right now. But I see what you want to do. I applaud you on what you want to do, and I see some challenges, right?
Oh, there are.
But I'm assuming that your membership will push your agenda through. So your goal right now is to basically tell people that you exist.
Yes.
Bring in some new people and new talent into this union, and then push the agenda that what you mentioned out in terms of this is long term.
Yeah.
This is not a short term thing in
You're
terms
right.
of only a few benefiting from other union in terms of
You're
getting
correct.
Exactly.
You're
you know.
correct.
Both gentlemen said, we are not here. We are just like here to start this.
Yeah.
We don't see, because I always tell things. I say, man, we're getting up in age, so
Right.
we're trying to leave a legacy for the younger musicians. Like for me personally, I'm a entertainer musician. I personally may not have the time to deal with the treasurer and all the funds and all the finance.
Yes.
So we're just here to start this.
Start it.
Get it
So we're
started.
gonna leave this for the younger musicians to have.
Exactly.
We're just here to start this thing.
And once we establish the guideline and the standards, the younger musicians, we expect them to
Carry it
maintain
on.
that standard and carry it on. You understand?
So,
And
when can I anticipate a constitution, a written document, a guideline of what all of the objective of this union?
We have that already.
You have that already.
I can
Okay.
get a
we
copy.
couldn't get registered
We
without
can't
it.
get registered. with
And
the
so you're already
Constitution.
registered. Okay, tell me. Let's talk about that. What all have you done in terms of saying I am now a union to say you're official? What all have you done so far
You mean to get to that?
to get to the stage where you said I'm
man,
officially a
it's-
union, a
been
registered
growing
union? What all
pains.
have you done?
Well, it took. We were formed about 2.5 years ago. It
So
took
2 years now you are being formed.
It took us that long to get the recognition because the fighting that was happening from that side.
Like you said, the challenges we had.
That next union can try and beat you all up. I understand. Yeah, block it. You can try and block it because you're all talented, right?
so-
The ideas what you're talking about is innovative, right? So I understand what the aggression they plan to come with. And so I assume that you all have to be above board and showing your skills to show that you're better.
Yeah,
right.
well, we also plan to do a courtesy call to that organization.
You go into the next organization too.
Do a courtesy call and then show them some of our plans and
You're going to share your plans with them too.
yeah, and try to work with them for the benefit of
Of the
all
industry, yeah.
concerned in the
Yeah,
industry.
yeah.
You see, we plan to do that.
You're all different though.
Well, my advice to you, Brother Newry, is to see if you can get them on the show with us at the same time. I'll bet you'll never be able to pull that off.
No. I know some people over there.
You
I
can
know
know
some
them,
people, yeah.
but they shy of the media.
Media.
Yeah.
So, but let's go. Okay, it took you 2 years now to get registered. What all did you needed to become a union, to be registered as a union?
We had to have 15 members.
So I know there's more than 15 of y'all. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
And then we had to have a number of subscribers and all that, and then we had to have meet all of the requirements of the Parliamentary Act 1972. We had to meet all of the requirements of that. Had to do a bunch of stuff that was never done, right? We had to do the national insurance thing and this thing and
Business
that
license,
thing.
yeah.
And the bus-
And in addition to that, you must have a constitution
Yeah.
that is consistent with the law of the land.
yeah. I'll make
the,
sure I
the
get
national constitution.
I'll get a copy of that.
Yeah, because I want to analyze it. And I also want to know who I would be associating myself with, right? Who are the executive members of this new union?
Okay, you want to give it right now?
Oh, okay, yeah. First of all, Anita Ellis Tynes, which is
She's
Count-
good people. She's
Count
good people.
Bernardino's daughter.
She's good people.
She's the president.
Yes.
You have me as the vice president.
I know you.
Mr. Lynx Kawala.
I know Lynx.
Ferguson. I don't know if you ever heard of Frankie Victory.
No.
Okay.
I can call my old man right after that and ask him who he is.
Frankie Victory, excellent musician. Okay, he's the financial
Secretary.
secretary. Then you have, Zaire from Bahamian.
He's a trustee.
Isaiah inside this group too?
Yeah, he's a trustee.
He's a trustee.
Irish store.
Irish Stone.
Irish store.
He's my cousin, actually.
He's a trustee.
Eugene Davis.
Eugene, Gino D.
Gino D.
Yes.
You all have, luckily, you all have everybody.
Yes.
No, finish calling names. Finish calling names.
Cheryl Cartwright.
I know Cheryl. She's good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucille
Good
Delancey.
Tika Cash. Yeah.
The guy from
There's some of the younger
from
people.
Bimini. What a
Wilfred
young
Solomon.
guy.
Wilfred Solomon.
Wilfred Solomon. What's the young guy from Bimini?
Sergeant Dion McPhee.
McPhee. Yeah, he's from Bimini representing.
You all have
Sidney
senior,
Isaacs.
senior artists amongst you all.
Yeah.
Who has considered and compare and do a contrast with the other union over there.
Yep.
And have concluded that that union ain't working for them or not representing their concerns.
Long time.
And have committed to helping your union grow.
Yes.
And people needs to appreciate that fact that there is a concern.
Yeah.
Right? And now I need to know, when will you all be having your general meeting for the public and for young artists who do Bahamian rap and Bahamian reggae
Great
and
question.
whatever else it is, to make sure let them know that, hey, you all exist.
Great
and you all are
question.
the future.
Great question. We, our president, when she returned, we're going to have a board meeting. And plans are underway to set up a general assembly with all of the creatives.
all the artists.
Those who are on the family islands, we're going to set up where they could zoom in. The ones that are able to do that. Also, we are working toward having the culture minister, the minister of tourism, and the prime minister to address this general assembly. So it is hoped that we will get one or two of them, but we are working toward that, so they can discuss the way forward from their angle for the music and entertainment industry. And so that's how we plan to do that with the general assembly of all the creatives.
And I want to talk about who all you all have met with so far, right? What all courtesy calls have you done so far in terms of introducing yourselves as a union, in terms of letting people know, senior people know, basically, that, hey, that this is the way forward.
We only received the recognition last week.
Like, oh, okay. No, I understand.
Yeah, so we have, and then our president had to go off to do some stuff. And so when she returns, we plan to have our first executive board meeting and set up the general assembly. And then all of these insurances, group insurance, burial society, and pension, all we're going to be discussing all of those things and putting them
Yeah, they're going to be priorities.
priorities,
And like I said, I'm excited about that. And then even impressed that you plan to meet with the other union over there
Yes.
to let them
But
know that
mind you,
Ben or break. That's what Pinklin said. They
Yeah.
got a Ben or break.
the joining to registration, we met with a lot of people. Okay, but that was the joining before we was actually a union and registered.
Yeah.
So we met with members of the opposition at the time, who's now government, and you had all the hell in the world to meet with government members. So, but it was a joining, and we finally are registered now, and we have some plans to meet with the Prime Minister, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. We met with him before he was registered as well. Okay, Mr. Mario Boleg. We met with him briefly. We met with Minister Mitchell briefly, and I think we met with Prime Minister briefly too.
Yeah.
Before we was even registered.
I understand. Tell them the ideas, whatever it is.
Exactly. So.
Here's an important point. We are also members of the CBTUC. That's the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, headed by O.B. Ferguson.
Which is the umbrella union.
The umbrella
Just
union.
about to go that now, and
Yeah.
in terms of, there are a number of persons who would say and call themselves a union, and I would want to know what type of training, what type of exercise or exposure that you have committed yourself to. And I see that you are already affiliated yourself with the TUC
Exactly.
to get experience and to understand the whole concept of
But
what it
just
is.
let me stick a
for
pin
union.
there.
Go ahead.
Links was Secretary General of that union.
You're a union man.
Yeah,
You understand.
the old trade unionist.
Yeah.
He was secretary general of that union.
But I know Jack's political. I know he know politics.
No, but I was president of Bahamas Omnibus Union as well.
Oh, yeah. I remember he's a bus man too, yeah.
He was actually the guy that got me into the union because he was the Secretary General of the Bahamas Musicians and Entertainers Union that exists now for I don't know how many years.
Oh, that's a lot of years. Go back. Yeah, that's about.
No, I don't mean how many. I mean how many years were you there?
Oh, I served under Dr. Leroy Ducana for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is not no overnight, fly-by-night, rinky-dink union.
No, we come to the table with a wealth of experience and knowledge. You know, and so that may be very intimidating for the other side.
No, man, I'm excited, man. The possibilities of what can happen for even having two unions here in the Bahamas, all working for the benefits
For the
of
benefit
artists.
of the artists, that's
You know,
right.
so
Kinda
that's something to be commended, and the idea that you all venture out and risk all and starting over in expense says a lot of the quality of men and women involved, and so I'm impressed with that.
And we do intend to reach out to them because it's for the benefit of the culture.
Okay. Okay. But let's take a short break here. We can
Yeah,
take
man.
a short break here so I can ask you some more questions, you know. And I see the phones that keep on lighting up, but it's not coming through. So I need to find out what is wrong with that. But this is Guardian Radio in the AM. The phone numbers are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. So you can always text me at 422-GR96. And we can put some questions to this new organization, this new union, the United Artists Bahamas Union, and they said they're the way forward. This is the way artists should, musicians should come and join and help them propel the culture of the Bahamas forward. This Guardian Radio, we'll be right back.
Insurance agents are the best. Reliable service, we've been on the scene, protecting since 1919. J.S. Johnson Insurance has the test. You're always covered with J.S. Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Remember when Zoom was just a sound effect? When your living room wasn't your gym? When a cough didn't scare people away? That was the good old days. And thankfully, they are coming back. As things return to normal, remember it is essential to be fully immunized against all vaccine-preventable diseases like COVID-19, diphtheria, tetanus, measles, and influenza. This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Government of Canada, and the United States of America.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Welcome back to Guardian Radio and AM. This is CA Newry, and I'm talking with some union men who embraces the Bahamian culture, who sees the need to protect and the need to endorse and the need to develop musicians in the Bahamas. And they believe that the current union is not doing that. So they formulated themselves, they organized themselves, and they have put forward ideas where musicians all across the archipelago now are interested and calling them up to join forces with them in order to make the musician experience in the Bahamas better, more quality, especially for those who are becoming senior and moving on in age, that they have benefits, right? There should be some benefit to be a Bahamian and benefit to be a Bahamian artist. And this union is going to put that forward. But I want to talk to Funky, right? Funky D, you have performed internationally, right? You have experienced unions American unions or whatever country you go in, and they have engaged you, right? What's the difference between that union over there and the American unions and how they react to foreign talent coming into to their country to perform?
Well, you know, I had a personal experience performing back in the day with the Backstabbers. We were actually on stage, and we saw these guys, you know, walking around looking, you know, little. So they actually called us off the stage, and they made sure that we were
Who called you off the stage?
the union members of.
So you performing in
Yes, they call you off stage,
and the union came on the stage.
They came
and
on
took
the side.
you off stage to ask you questions.
They asked us about
with a band on the side of them.
And the union came with their own band just in case.
Yeah.
No, I got to explain this. Explain this.
Yeah, man, it's serious. And you know, we had to show them our credentials of being a part member of the Bahamas Musicians and Union at the time, or we weren't allowed to perform.
Yeah.
That actually happened. So that's experience. So they they made sure that we were, and that doesn't happen here.
No.
It doesn't happen here. Guys come in and they perform, and you know, I remember one time we were in Atlantis performing, and Cool and the gang was in the next room behind us. There was nobody to check in to see whether all of their labor, all of their
If they sign contract, they have work permits or whatever.
right.
It is.
Nobody was there to check.
That's right.
There was no what. There was the you know.
This country.
That's the way it was.
Our country.
Our country. Jax.
Yes, sir.
There's a big concert happening in Abaco for near Christmas in December. Big country music. You know, I like country music.
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
not a Bahamian performing that day. I asked with it, say, hey. I appreciate that Hope Town want to have the country music, you know, because I understand they like that genre, right? But I find it offensive that a foreign group can come here to the Bahamas, right, and perform, because I cool with them performing, you know, because, you know, I like international music. But there should at least be one Bahamian talent to be able to get a piece of the money. You ain't got to get all in them.
Yeah,
And they ain't got to be controlled, they could be what you call the warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opening
The
act.
opening
You
act.
call it an opening act.
The opening act. How come there is no opening act for that gig happening in Abaco?
Your guess is just as good as mine.
The union got to know. The union got to see it, because I saw the flyer. The union see the flyer.
Yeah, and perhaps they know about it, and perhaps I don't want to cast aspersions. Maybe some stuff passed under the table.
Don't say that about good Bahamians, man. Don't say that about good Bahamians.
Because there's no opening act. No Bahamian is doing the opening act. And that's how it used to be back in the day, and that should continue. Okay, but we don't know what is going on because we're not privy to those. We hope going forward, we'll be privy to those information. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. I'll tell you, Siri, Newry, what's going on is every act that comes in, right, there's a percentage goes to the union.
Oh, so they get the money more likely.
Right. But that's for the union from the act that's coming in. And so it appears if once they get their dues, then it doesn't matter whether there's an opening act for the Bahamian artists. And so we're not going to be like that. You see? We're not going to do that. We're going to police all, just like how Funky mentioned, just how they did us in Atlantic City. We're going to, all of these family islands, we're going to have musicians who live in over there looking out and being an eye for what's happening when they bring in these people and we don't know. You see, because if you just settle for the dues that comes in from the contract of the artist, that's fine. So the union have that money, but what about the artists? They're still not getting an opportunity to open up the shows or to make a piece of the money, but the union would have their dues. You see, and so we don't want to operate like that.
You serve over there as an executive in that union. You know, I know that union get dues.
Yeah.
The artists here, the musicians here in the Bahamas pay their dues, and of course, like you said, they get a percentage of the acts would come in, right? What they doing with the money?
Good question.
That's a good
No,
question.
you can't let it slide like that. Say that's a good question.
Well-
Earlier you're complaining that more needs to be done for senior musicians, especially those who are having health issues, or especially those who are having hard times, opportunities given to them that they can perform still inside the circuit. Right?
Brother Newry,
I want to know what's happening with the money. Money's being made.
You ask that kind of question in their meetings, and that is forbidden. You get kicked out of the meeting.
They can't kick you out as your member.
Yeah, but if the executive board is doing something that you are exposing them of, they all agree to get him out of the meeting. They call the sergeant at arms on you because you now open up the eyes of other members as to what is going on with all this money. You ask those kind of questions. I've been kicked out of that meeting, that union twice for asking questions.
But you political, I expect you to get kicked out. They ain't go funky. They ain't go funky. You know, Scavella, Scavella, right? But they can kick you out. I know who you is.
Yes.
You get kicked out of many places.
Because I asked the tough questions.
You asked the tough questions, yes.
But the questions are never answered. And I would like where all the money is going myself. But we will now have transparency. So that money that is being levied is going to have to be shared with us because our members' music is involved.
Yeah.
We should be, they should be paid for their, royalties.
Some kind of commission, yeah.
Exactly.
They're paying it.
And so there'll be some transparency. That's all I can say at this stage. But moving forward, those issues are going to have to be addressed.
I'm going to ask an odd question. I'm going to ask Link Scavala this odd question, right? It has nothing to do with your union. It has something to do with the other union because I got to do some investigation because I don't like what I'm hearing, right? Who are the executives in that union over there? Because I can write the names down because what you're saying can't be happening inside the Bahamas. Not for the benefit of Bahamian artists, Bahamian musicians. So I need to know who these people are. Who are the executives? I mean, whoever you can call.
Well, I know for a fact the president is Ronnie Ambrister.
Let me write down Ronnie names so I can find out what happened to what Ronnie's saying, man.
So they had an election recently, so I would not be
privy to that with all. But I can look out for this Ronnie, and I can put a question to you, to him, because this don't make no sense for Bahamian artists to be disenfranchised like this, especially in this new era where Bahamians. First of all, it's a new day.
Yeah.
Right? It's a new day. And this new day is for empowering Bahamians and empowering Bahamian artists. And so I find it vexing that in this new day that such things are happening and that Bahamians, and again, like I always mention, senior musicians are not benefiting, especially when the rag has been squeezed out of them. All the water and all the juice has been squeezed out of them in their contribution. And at the end of it, at the tail end, no one is looking out for their interests, and that's why I'm very impressed with what you all are saying. Part of your mandate, part of your open agenda is that you'll be looking out for people nearing retirement and make sure that they're included in that.
Let me give you a scenario, because I think Frankie Chihuago Young is one of the executive board members. I think he's a trustee. I'm not quite sure, but I believe he's a trustee. And I don't know if you ever heard of Falcon Watson.
Yes.
Okay, Falcon is the leader of about 4 bands. Plus he acts as a booking agent.
Yeah, Falcon is a booking agent.
And that's a conflict of interest. And that is what they practice over there. And one time I questioned that and I was kicked out of the meeting, So
he's an executive and a booking agent.
Exactly.
So if he know the information beforehand.
If there's a dispute with him and one of his band members have to come to him to file the dispute. You see what I'm saying?
I see.
Because he's an executive. You file your dispute with the executive and say, well, Falcon ain't pay me my money or he ain't pay me enough money and blah, blah, blah. But you got to go to your boss to file the dispute. You see where the conflict arises?
I see it.
Okay, and he's a booking agent. And he's the leader of about 4 different bands. Okay, and that's what the kind of stuff they practice over there. And so that is why we specifically said, this union will not be a booking agent.
Right.
Okay, we have booking agents in the country that will be registered and regulated by the government and who we'll recognize and who we'll be working along with to ensure that everybody get a fair play. Everybody get fair play. The agent get their share, the musician, the entertainer get his share, and the union gets their share. But over there, they don't practice that. But Falcon Watson, he's one of the executive members. Frankie Chihuago. And there's another Ferguson fella. But I can't remember his first name. He's the Secretary General. I can't remember his first name.
Okay, moving forward in terms of working along with other unions abroad, right? Jamaican artists, the American artists, the Trinidadian artists, because we import their talents all the time. In fact, we have more Trinidadian acts in the Bahamas than Bahamian acts
all the time
happening, right? Yeah. I want to know, how would your union involve yourself, negotiate yourself with the unions in those countries?
Okay, we plan to affiliate ourselves with unions like the AFFM, American Federation of Music, and some of the other countries that you mentioned as well. And this would enable us to do reciprocal exchanges where we have not just the foreign artists coming in, but you have the Bahamian artists going out. And so I think once we do stuff like that, we would be in a position to help the culture of the different countries and also elevate what we are doing as an organization for the benefit of our members.
I have a tough text right here. It's a tough text right now, and the texter is concerned about your union, right? And let me read the text. Say, "Good day, Mr. Newry. Unity is strength. Why would those musicians go and form their own union instead of getting together and making the present union accountable to the public and make their views and ideas under one umbrella to bring power to musicians in the country on the whole and stop pulling each other down?"
We tried that.
We tried that. But they would see, for you to be able to do that, you have to be on the inside.
Yeah.
And they refuse to let you in the inside. Anybody who is challenged their authority, they won't even let you be a part of the union. Okay?
And they seem not to want more than 16 or 17 people in that union.
Yeah, that's right. And a small nucleus that they can control and who supports them totally. See, but obviously the texter doesn't know that.
Yeah, we tried.
See, be on the outside looking in, but you have to be on the inside to be able to unite. And I was on the inside. And when I put the tough questions and ideas, they throw me out.
But mind you, remember what I said, we plan to reach out.
That's right.
We plan to go there and reach out, courtesy call, and try to work together.
Together with them.
You see, that is on our agenda.
I'm not the only member that was kicked out of the union. You had members like Ronald Sims, Raphael Munnings, Fred Ferguson.
Yeah, you gotta kick out Fred Ferguson.
Why not? Ask Fred. Try get Fred on your show and ask if they kick him out.
Fred is my cousin.
Fred is one of them who asks tough questions too.
They kick out Fred. and the union still exists. They kick out Fred. Y'all can talk some things. I can tease Fred when I see him.
Not only Links, they kick Links out too.
Links they kick out too. They link some too much information on them. But there are a number of musicians who have abandoned the union. And when I say abandoned the union,
Which union now?
No. I ain't talking about you yet. Use a new union.
Okay.
Use a new union. And when I say abandoned union, I talk about the idea and the concept of being a part of a union. Right? They're saying this being a part of the union ain't working for them. They can survive on the outside by themselves. They can negotiate their contracts by themselves. They can go to the Ministry of Culture by themselves and be hired independently of any union. They can get their booking by themselves. They can go to the States on gigs by themselves, right? What caused that? Why is that happening?
Because the union refused to represent them, and they now decide to be a lone ranger, so to speak, because the existing organization or the old organization refused to give them the kind of representation they needed. And that's why they're going on their own.
Well, I believe once we set up the booking agencies, right, the musicians and them, once they see that this is in place, even though they will pay a percentage to the booking agencies, but they will see that, oh, it makes more sense for me to have somebody represent my bookings on my behalf. You know, once that happens, then I think things will change.
I have like less than 60 seconds to go, right? This is going to be my last question, right? A number of no, let me change the question. That's not right. A number of musicians are dying broke. What's happening? Speed it up. So tell me something. What's happening? What's happening?
They're dying broke?
Dying broke.
They was living broke too.
They was living broke. And that's the answer right there, no?
Yeah,
That's the answer right there. And
see, the agent will negotiate a tangible fee for them. Okay, and because there's a lack of booking agents, they were living broke.
I understand.
They were getting peanuts.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking with the new union, United Artists Bahamas Union, UABU, and they're the future. That's what they're saying. They're the future, and they're looking out for the artists, the Bahamian musicians now. Yes. And they want you to get in contact with them. They're on social media, so reach out to these good gentlemen. That's how you get more details and more information about this new organization. Go ahead, Jack.
Let me tell you something. All of the international acts that you see coming here, they are paid 3/4 of their money before they even reach the country. And the next quarter they get that before they go on stage.
We can talk about that again when I invite you back.
Okay.
Guardian Radio AM.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.